All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live on this Wednesday. Remember, check out our conversation with defensive line coach from LSU, Jamar Cain, earlier this week. All of our stuff brought back to you by RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com. We jump to the other side of the ball this morning and link up with Joe Sloan, LSU quarterbacks coach. Been looking forward to getting Coach Sloan into the studio and having an opportunity to talk about his time in Baton Rouge. It's been a hell of a whirlwind, I know, since he's been introduced in early January as the quarterbacks coach. But before that, spent 9 years up in North Louisiana at Louisiana Tech and did a tremendous job of putting up numbers on offense and coaching that side of the ball and recruiting up there. The way that they were able to get a couple of guys like Jalen Ferguson out of West Feliciana a couple of years back, who ended up in the NFL, and Trent Taylor, who we talked about as far as Joe Burrow's one of his top targets up in Cincinnati. We welcome in Joe Sloan here to the Jordy Culotta Show. Coach, thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
Hey, Jordy, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Let's start a little bit with the schedule. I know that to get to this point of mid-June since January probably feels like a blink for what you guys have had to kind of hit the ground running. What has it been like since being introduced in early January as the quarterbacks coach?
Yeah, it's definitely been quick, right? It seems like just yesterday that we were getting down here. I think it was maybe the fourth or fifth. Yeah. Got down here and it's been rolling since. So had a bunch of guys on campus. I think the second or third day that we were here, something like that. A bunch of guys who we ended up getting out of the transfer portal, and it's been rocking and rolling. It's been fun. It took just putting a staff together of that size. I thought Coach Kelly did an awesome job of that, and just the blend of type of people, some different backgrounds, everything that people bring to the table, different things that people bring to the table, and it's been fun getting to know all of them. I mean, obviously I was one place for a long time, so the transition's definitely been something that it's been a while since I've went through that, but I think you get an opportunity to kind of re-energize and refocus and set down a new foundation that for moving forward. So it's been great.
What the relationship with Brian Kelly, obviously working for him now, but how did that start as far as him reaching out to you and getting on this staff? What did you know about Kelly, and what has it been like to work with him here over the last 6 months?
So I had met Coach. Oh man, I guess it was 3 or 4 years ago at a conference, and got a chance to spend 20-30 minutes with him and get to know him a little bit. As soon as you meet him, he's just, and I know people as around town as they get an opportunity to get around him. He's so down to earth. He's just very engaged. He's very present when he's talking to you. I mean, he was great. He sat and visited with me and my wife for a little bit, and then fast forward, obviously he gets the LSU job, which it was was a surprise to everybody, right? I'm sure
99.9% of the world, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I was fired up. I knew a few people who had worked for him up at Notre Dame, and just had always spoke really highly of the organization that he had, the way that he approached things, the professionalism. So I was obviously excited for LSU, and then there were some connections there that we had, and I think some people maybe who we knew rekindled a little bit and talked on my behalf a little bit, and then after that, as we moved along, we got an opportunity to get on the phone. Got on the phone for a little bit. I think it was had to be maybe Sunday afternoon or Monday morning, something like that.
Yeah.
Spoke for a while. Opportunity to come visit in person for a little bit, just C and I. Made sure that we were in alignment, which we were. And I think that was really kind of the rest was history after that. I mean, obviously, it fit really well in terms of me being a guy who could recruit Louisiana and had different relationships in Louisiana. It could help that way, but also being with the quarterbacks and being able to help Mike Denbrock in any kind of way that I can, and help LSU football in any kind of way that I can. Coach is really involved with the quarterbacks, which is awesome. It's been great so far. He is, man, what a communicator he is. He has an unbelievable presence. He's a great listener. And what he does is he really sets people up and makes sure they understand their roles, and puts them to work. And I've had a blast so far. Yeah. It's been fun.
Alignment is a word that we hear a lot coming out since Brian Kelly has been introduced as the LSU head coach. Coach Kane mentioned it the other day when he was here. The alignment on the offensive staff. You were hired. Brad Davis was here at LSU on the offensive line. You were hired. It seems very quick with Brian Kelly. Denbrock then comes in. Frank Wilson is a part of that offensive staff. Cortez Hankton. When you say the word alignment, how does that offensive staff align?
Well, and I was referring to a little bit just on Coach Kelly's, just some of his philosophies and beliefs at the quarterback position, and just some of the conversations that we had. And I think, we naturally believed in a lot of the same things. But when you look back to, I think your question regarding the offensive staff, Mike is awesome. He does a great job of allowing everybody to be themselves and bring out the best in themselves. He sets a great tempo for our room. We have a blast in there. We got a lot of good personalities, and I think he wants those to show. And he wants guys to bring the different positives that they have to the room. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what he's been able to do so far with the different guys that are in there. So that's what's been fun. I think we all bring different things to the table, but he makes sure that we're all pushing in the same direction and we're all working together. So I think it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be fun to watch as we continue to come together and push towards this first season. And you know how first time with anything, when you get a new group of people together, every day's new. But I think that's been Mike's approach, and he's done an awesome job of it. It's easy to see when you meet him. He's just really charismatic. He has a great presence. He's really good with people. He makes you feel comfortable, but he has an unbelievable energy to him. So it's been fun. It's been fun being with Mike and being with someone new. But really, we definitely have some fun in the offensive staff room.
I would think so. Your room feels like it's the most competitive on the team as far as the position battle goes, or at least one of them. How do you evaluate the quarterback room? How do you look at that room going into the offseason?
Yeah, so I think getting through spring. I mean, most of it was obviously just installing the offense, and I think all four guys really made some strides in terms of that and showed a lot of positives. Obviously, which you guys get to talk about all the time, so you guys,
Sure.
But all four have done a great job. They did. I think they really did a really nice job in spring of taking strides forward individually, and everybody's different in terms of what they need to get better at and what they need to show. And then move it into summer, and I love the way they're working right now in the weight room for Coach Flint. But like I said, I think spring a lot was everything was new for everybody. So especially at the beginning, there wasn't as much evaluation, say the first few days, get into the flow, and then I think we got some good opportunities for some guys to get some reps, and I think everybody showed some positives. Now moving into the fall, it's going to be exciting. First little bit of August,
Sure.
and we'll be able to narrow in and decide on who gives us the best opportunity. But that'll be a collective conversation between a few guys on the staff.
When you set sail on spring, I'd imagine that you had goals of what you wanted to get accomplished. Did those happen? Did you get what you really wanted to take out of spring implemented?
I did. I think the biggest thing I think we needed to create a foundation. We needed to create a foundation individually at the quarterback position. We also needed to create a foundation for the offense overall. We needed to get a lot of things installed so that guys then could go back and do the work between spring and August that they need to do to get prepared for us to have the type of season that we expect to have. And I think that was the biggest thing. So I looked to that, and I think offensively overall, a lot of that got accomplished. And then you look at quarterbacks individually. Their big thing was making sure that they got to understand the offense. They got to understand what they're going to be asked to do. And I think the other thing is all of them have strengths and weaknesses. And I think having a good idea, and talking to them before, I hadn't coached any of them. Yeah. So we had to sit down and we had to talk, and I leaned on them a bunch to say, all right, I want you to think back to your last year, the last 2 years of your college career, and we got to lay out some things. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Why? And I had having those conversations so I knew what they felt like they needed to work on, and then having constant conversations throughout spring. I think I want them to be aware of themselves. I think that's so important when it comes to helping a guy develop, is that they're aware of what makes them special, and they're aware of some things they need to improve on. And I felt like as we went through the spring, I think that everybody in that room understands where they're at and what kind of work they needed to do over these past month and these next couple months heading into August. And that was my goal. Yeah. And I think, I can't say enough about that room and their approach. They have fun together. They work hard together. You would never know if you come visit with them. You would never know that they're in the middle of battling out to see who can be the quarterback at LSU, man. So I think that's been cool. That's been fun for me. They've made it fun, and then it's going to get full speed.
It feels like you got everything a quarterback room needs to have in all four players. You got a number one player in the country in Walker Howard. You got a senior who battled adversity in Myles Brennan, who's looking, or an upperclassman in Myles Brennan, a guy in Jaden Daniels who's been a starter and comes to a new place, and then Garrett Nutsmeyer, the guy that feels like he's kind of right there, ready to take off. When you look at the room collectively, and we can start with Myles. Obviously, he came back and made the announcement as soon as Coach Kelly got the job. When you look at them individually, how do you evaluate them, going into the offseason? What does Myles Brennan look like to you after coaching him through 15 practices of spring, going into his first offseason under your tutelage?
Yeah, I think Myles just is his consistency and leadership has been great. And that's he's been fun. I've just being around this area and all that kind of stuff. I've had some different run-ins with Myles in the past and things like that all the way back to high school, and he's an awesome individual. So he's definitely been fun to work with, fun to get to know, and I think you can understand he just shows up every single day, and you know what to expect. So it's definitely been great.
How's it been, Jaden Daniels, for a guy like Jaden Daniels coming to a new place? He's got skins on the wall somewhere else, but he's coming into a new league with a new coaching staff. How have you seen him kind of adapt to that?
No, I think that's always probably for Jaden. It's been great. It's been an opportunity for him to redefine himself a little bit. Sometimes when you're in a program and you've been there for multiple years, and you leave and you come in, and now all of a sudden you kind of know who you are, but nobody else does. So you have an opportunity to really set the stage for kind of what you want to be as a football player and who you are as a person. And I think he's done a great job of that. Yeah, he's very observant. He's a calm, cool, collected guy. So he's come in and not tried to overpower anything and not tried to be too over the top in terms of things with, oh, this is me and I'm this and I'm that. He's just coming to work, and I've been really pleased with that of him. He's another guy that's just got a great personality, fun to be around every day.
Garrett Nutsmeyer came through here after you guys finished up spring, and obviously he's got the bloodline and his dad obviously played the position and coaches the position. He played some reps last season as a freshman. How do you evaluate Nuss after seeing him play limited last year, a couple of practices in spring, and now going into the offseason?
I mean, Garrett's again, and this is kind of repetitive in terms of just an enjoyable guy to work with. He can be challenged. He loves to respond to challenges, and I think obviously just coming in as a young guy, you have a lot of things that you're kind of trying to create what you're going to be as a college quarterback, and I think that's where a lot of your growth takes place. So he's looking at all that, and we're working together on that as to what he needs to improve on. And he's done a great job of studying, of listening, and then going back and correcting some of those things that he needs to continue to get better at. And I've loved the way he's attacked that. Mm-hmm. He's got a ton of talent. He's got a great energy and passion, right? I think that shows. So it's definitely enjoyable to watch him go out and practice every day. Every day he just loves football.
Is it fair to say that this is a 3-quarterback competition, that Walker Howard, the expectation for him is to redshirt him and allow him to see this game from the sideline in his first year? Or what is the expectation of a guy like Walker Howard in his first season in a competition like this?
Yeah, I mean, I like all 4 guys that we have in the room. I'm excited to see Walker's growth. I think the most growth comes from out of spring. Walker's comes in, working through some injuries, moving into getting to spring, gets back, is ready to rock and roll on the first day. Didn't have an opportunity to throw that much going into spring, and all of a sudden he's back. He's learning. He's drinking through a fire hose when it comes to that. I'm excited to see what he was at the end of spring versus what he is at the beginning of August. And Walker, he's just a magnetic personality. He's got a great, just calm presence to him, but yet he's energetic. He's passionate. So he's fun to be around. I think it's obvious why he won a lot of football games in high school. It's obvious why you can he's just he's someone who when people talk about, right, they light up. So I'm excited to watch what his growth now that he understands what college football is all about, and really got a true taste of it, and he can walk into August and get after it a little bit.
Yeah. Now to some fun stuff. I'll get off the quarterbacks. I can tell you're like, all right, man, let's get out of here. Right, I'm not giving you any more info. I'm not giving any more info. Kayshawn, I saw him at the camp last week, and he looks like he's moving around pretty good, and said that he was moving around well. How do you evaluate the skill around your position group when you look at Kayshawn, the wide receivers, and you got Emery back, who looks like he's motivated for his senior season? How do you look at the group around your spot?
Well, I think I'm sure you guys have talked about it on the show a couple of times, but I think we got some receivers here.
You do.
You do. Being in the state of Louisiana, there's a lot of skilled players here who can run, who can catch, who can attack the ball. I mean, just some really talented guys. I mean, you go back to the 2019 team, and you look at the guys on the perimeter there, right? Where all of them from, and we got a lot of guys. We're very fortunate right now who are other Louisiana natives who are here, right? Who are here and can make plays on the perimeter. I think I couldn't even. You start to name them, and it's like,
where does it end?
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's fun when I talk to other people who, whether it be guys that I know who are LSU fans or other coaches, and you start naming off, and you talk about Kayshawn, and you talk about Jack and Malik and Kyron now coming in and having a good spring, right? BT, Chris, Jeray. I mean,
Jesus.
You go
Keep
on
going.
and on and on.
More,
right? More. That's right. So it's right. That's and if I missed anybody, that was not intentional.
Right.
But it's just an awesome group, and I think Cortez has done a really good job again of getting those guys working together. Working around each other, holding them accountable, and they're holding each other accountable, and they're pushing it. And it's been fun to watch them work. But it was definitely, man, it's great. It was great in spring where it seemed like every day there was somebody else who was making a play. Okay. There was somebody else who was doing something right on the perimeter. And that's what it creates. That's what we need. We need explosives, right? We need explosives, and a lot of those come from those guys. So I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to watch those guys in Tiger Stadium.
Another group that I'm pretty excited to see in fall camp and kind of develop through the early part of the season is the offensive line. I think that Brad Davis did an incredible job of putting a group together that looks like it's going to be really competitive going into fall camp. Obviously, Will Campbell was in spring, and he got a lot of the attention, but there was a lot of guys who came in through the transfer portal and some faces that seem like they have solidified their spot under Davis. How have you seen him run that unit and that group on their development the last couple of months?
No, I think that was coming in. I mean, I didn't know much about our roster other than the guys that I knew coming at, from high school and from recruiting and those things. But obviously that was fairly talked about. And I mean, just you look about the end of spring. I think Brad has done a great job of from the beginning of spring to the end of spring, and just exactly what you're saying there, Jordy. The situation that we're in right now, going into the summer, I think we got an opportunity to really make a statement up there and put ourselves in a position where that can be, with a lot of new faces and a lot of new names in different places. Yeah. But put together a group who I think just is going to have an attitude, is going to have and play a certain way and play together. But definitely, it's been, when you watch Will as a freshman come out and play the way that he did in the spring, as a true freshman who I guess he should have still been in high school.
The prom.
Right? He should have been going to prom.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he went to prom, but he should have been going to prom.
Instead, he's taking care of Jack Besh's dog. He's playing dad.
Yeah, which is just don't.
Yeah.
Right? But yes, he is. He's walking around Jack's dog. Where's Jack? You know?
Right.
But
everybody wants to know.
Yeah. But no, I think he was obviously to come in and play the way that he did at that position. That position's it's a tough position, right? I mean, when you're young, you go out, you throw and catch and all that kind of stuff. You don't go out and I'm gonna kick slide real quick, or hey, I'm gonna come off and tight reach somebody.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. So that's a testament. That's definitely a testament to Will. It's a testament to football in the state, right? Testament to Neville High School. But then and then what Brad did with him over spring, in those guys. So it was fun to watch him. But I'm excited to watch that whole O line. I think they've done awesome. And
then flip the line of scrimmage. You guys, to me, I think will be in every game because of your defensive line. I think you've got an NFL group on that side of the ball. Coach Kane sat right where you were 48 hours ago, and he was gushing about his group. What did you see from those guys? I mean, whether it's
he should be.
I bet. Right, guys set to make a lot of money over the next year. Get a raise off that group.
Hey, man, I mean, you look across and it just seems like you look across and you see just the body types in general. I mean, just the length, the physicality, the speed, and there's depth, right? And that's what you need. You need up front on both sides of the ball. You need depth because, as we know, it's a violent game. Injuries happen, and you got to be able to have multiple guys. But I think we got some people over there that are really explosive. They can create. I mean, at times they can ruin a practice in a heartbeat. I know that. So, but it's gonna be fun to watch them. I'm glad we don't have to play them, right? When it's live,
right?
Our guys always get red jerseys on when we're going against them, which is positive.
Yeah.
No, it's been fun to watch. But there's a bunch of good guys over there too, with really good personalities, fun to be around. That's what I found since I've gotten here. The guys on the team, man, they come to work. They have a smile on their face. They work hard. They're fun to be around. They work together. That's what makes it enjoyable, right? When you're around a group of players who love what they do. Right, this is an unbelievable job. There's nothing better, and that's what we got right now.
You came in with a hell of a reputation as a recruiter, especially in this state. You're from Virginia. You played at East Carolina. You spent 9 years at Tech. What was it about the state of Louisiana that you saw from a recruiting standpoint? Because I think a lot of the draw to you was the relationships that you have within the state, the way that you've been able to recruit this state. How wealthy of talent is in this? Because you've seen them all. I mean, you've recruited Amik Robertson, who I know was an LSU Louisiana Tech battle down to signing day. I know that Frank Wilson was talking to Jalen Ferguson. When he was at West Feliciana, he ended up being the sack leader at Louisiana Tech. Tell me the story how you got him.
You're gonna get Frank all mad at me, so pretending like
you go to the office today.
Yeah. So Jalen. So when I got to Tech, I was 26. Skip had called me. I was back in Virginia for Christmas, and he had just got there. He said, "Hey, you want to come to Louisiana Tech?" And I said, "Absolutely." Yeah. Come on. And so I headed down. I still remember it was me, Tim Rattay, Jabbar Jalouk.
Wow.
Yeah, at our first lunch, right? So we had some good guys on that first staff. But he said, "Hey, you want to where you want to recruit?" I'm gonna give everybody a piece of state. I said, "Where you want me?" He said, "Well, how about we put you in Baton Rouge?" I said, "Well, sounds good to me." So, I'd never been to Baton Rouge, never been to New Orleans, never been to. I think that was my first time in Louisiana when I actually stepped foot. So, but I think, just as I look back, it was a testament to the coaches. The coaches, they embraced, the high school coaches embraced me. I mean, they were awesome. I just went in and tried to develop relationships. That was the goal is because that's what it starts with. I think Louisiana is such a community. I was leaving Tampa and coming to Ruston, Louisiana. Everybody's like, oh, you're leaving Tampa. Are you going to be upset? I got to Ruston and after a couple of weeks, I was like, no. I mean, I missed where I grew up. We had a tight knit community, with relationships and people mattered, and I missed that. And I found that back in Ruston. I found that back in Louisiana overall, and I think that helped me in terms of recruiting. That was that's how the guys embraced me down here. That's what they want. They want to know that people are going to take care of their players when they leave high school and go on to college, and I think that's hopefully what I was able to show them. Is that we were going to do that. And with Jay, I go all the way back to Stan Hagan, watched him and said, hey Joe, we need to go get this guy or whatever. And I went and saw Rob Odom over at West Louisiana, and Rob was in the back, back there in the field house and all that good stuff, and it kind of took off from there. And Jay was fun to recruit. There's no doubt about that. And it came down to his mom. It was his mom, dad, and Jazz obviously was a year younger, but Jay, we were able to hold off in Missouri late. Jay, they messed with me. I was at a high school basketball game at Walker, and his mom called me and said, hey, I think we're going to go to Missouri. And I, run out of the game, and I'm, sprinting on the phone, talking to him, no, that's a terrible idea. I think I don't know what you're thinking, She said, I'm just kidding. We're going to come. Okay, thanks.
Recruiting is a brutal game, huh?
Yeah,
brutal. Man.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, but it's fun.
Yeah,
it's kind of wild. It's fun, but it's definitely fun when you have when you got a great place and when you find fit. Hey, this guy in high school, he fits. Mm-hmm. He fits our culture. He fits our team. He fits our community. And when you know that, it's easy because then you're talking to parents, you're talking to high school coaches, you're talking to players about, hey, this is a great place for you. You can get all your goals and dreams accomplished. And when you can show them that path, and when that's the stuff you get to talk about, it's fun.
Do you wish you had another year with this cycle? The cycle of this class? I know you can't speak specifically about this class as far as individuals, but when you look at it, it's very talented at the quarterback position in this recruiting cycle. How difficult was it to hit the ground at that portion of the cycle, and what do you make of this cycle as a whole? I know you can't speak individually on them. Yeah,
so, I think quarterback recruiting starts, when guys are young. Uh-huh. So there were some guys that I had some relationships with, and then some guys that I just was creating relationships with. Mm-hmm. But no, I think you always look and say, hey, I feel great about where we're at. I feel great about where we're at as an LSU football team and how we are in at that position in that room. So no, I'm excited about where we are and continue to move forward. It's an honor and a privilege to play quarterback at LSU. It's to represent LSU football and lead this team into Tiger Stadium. That's a privilege, and we'll continue to put guys into that room who understand what that means, who understand how important that is, and who understand what kind of opportunity they have to develop here and to be the best version of themselves, and have an opportunity to go win national championships.
How different evaluating that position has it become over the last couple of years? The skill has changed at that spot, right?
Yeah, I think and I think it depends too what you're doing on offense and what you want to highlight. That's where I think Mike Denbrock just really understands what he wants, and he's a great evaluator of understanding. Hey, this guy really fits, and this guy, different things, and hey, do you see this? Do you see that? He and Coach Kelly both. So I think mostly it's about understanding who fits you, and then who you can develop within your system and within the things that we have in our building and in our program. And I think that's the most important thing, is to understand that fully, so then understand that, and really know the young man that you're recruiting, so that you know that those two things really work together. Yeah. We have some special people in our building, in terms of who help in terms of our quarterback development. And that's what I've been very fortunate of, is and tried to be aware of walking in, is getting to know all the people that we have in the building, and getting to see all the different, whether it be facilities that we get an opportunity to use, or experts in their field that we get an opportunity to use, and how can they help our guys develop into being the absolute best they can be. That's been kind of my thing, is making sure that I'm aware of that and then putting that into action.
Jamar Cain says that people see him on the road and they tell him, you're in the right spot. You're in a great gig, defensive line coach at LSU. Within the coaching fraternity, and I asked Coach Cain this, and you can speak to this, the LSU job has to be looked at as one that's either envied to be there because of the expectation, but then once you get there, the pressure of it, I guess, of to win exists. How is LSU's job viewed from the coaching fraternity, and now that you're in the belly of the beast, a program that's won 3 national championships in 20 years under 3 head coaches, what is kind of the expectation of it?
It's the best job in America. This is the best place in America to play college football, to coach college football, and I think you can feel that in the passion. You can feel it every day. Louisiana is a unique place in this country. It has a unique culture. The community that we are as a state is special, and I think that's what people talk about. We talk about the talent here matters, right? It absolutely does, because you have to have local talent in order to be a successful college football program consistently year in, year out. But I think too, you have to have a group of people in a community that cares deeply about success. And putting our guys in that position year in and year out. And we have that here to go along with the Louisiana culture and the community, where they're going to wrap their arms around our guys and wrap their arms around this staff and this football program and help push us forward continually. And that's what makes this job special every single day you walk in, right, is the expectations, the standards, but then also the community here in Baton Rouge, the community on the LSU campus, and the community in Louisiana overall.
What was it like having Tyranny Matthew in that building address the team? It seems like all the players that come through here, it was a very powerful moment for the program.
I actually told somebody the other day. So the other day, Chris Johnson, who played at East Carolina when I was there, he walks his 2 young kids over. He's got 2 twin boys. They're like 9.
I'm sure they're no good.
They're probably slow. So he comes walking
3K
across.
and 4K.
Yeah. So he comes walking across. I said, so I just popped over there and we visited for a while and kind of hung out a little bit that day. But I was telling him about Tyron, and I was telling him about him coming and speaking. Just his presence, and obviously you hear a lot of stuff. You get an opportunity to see him on TV and his interviews, and obviously he's a powerful, impactful guy. But I think seeing it in person, I mean, I stand up in front of a group of quarterbacks every day, a ton, right? So I'm used to getting up in front of people and speaking. Well, usually you have certain things you want to talk about. You have whether it be a presentation or you got an outline, you got different things. When he stood up in front of our team for, I believe it was near an hour, and spoke from the heart, passionately, the way he would the message that he sent from beginning to end, the organized message that he wanted to get across to that team, and how he was able to get that across in that room during that time, it was a powerful moment. It was a powerful moment, and I think for a lot of the guys that we have on the roster, they know who he is. They've been around him, but the opportunity to truly hear that, and then for other guys on the team, or for that are new, or for even staff that's new, for all of us to hear that and his pride and what LSU means to him, and what he believes it takes to be successful, based on his history and his past and what he knows works day in, day out, and the type of work that it takes. It was no doubt it was a special moment.
Yeah. It feels like a college program has 2 head coaches. The head coach on the field, Brian Kelly, but then they go to the strength coach for the offseason, and really under they're monitoring what goes on with the team, kind of building up to what they want them to look like. How have you? What has your impression been of Coach Flint?
Yeah, Jake's big time now. Jake and Coach Kelly, again, not to sound like whatever, but going back to the word alignment. See, look at you.
I'm studying.
Everybody.
Right there.
Everybody.
Top of mind.
Finishing sentences now. Look at us. Right?
Me and you, who'd have thought?
Yes. But they are – Jake understands the message and the consistent message that what Coach Kelly wants to continue to push to our team. And they work together so well from that standpoint, from how we're going to grow the team mentally and emotionally, but also then the science behind how to prepare guys and tracking things specifically in terms of explosion, movement, in terms of just distance of running or workload, and consistently monitoring those things so that we aren't guessing, that it's something we know exactly what's being done and how we're preparing, right? And being able to use the different great facilities that we have at LSU and the things that we have in front of us, and be able to put those into work so that we can put our guys in the best position to be successful. And it's been awesome to watch. I've never seen some of the stuff that we're able to use and some of the technology that we put to work every single day, and Jake does. It's fascinating stuff. So it's definitely been fun.
So cool to get you in here, man. Thank you for your time this morning. That's 30 minutes with LSU quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan. He's got to get over to meetings today. I know camps are going on. How important is the camp process to the evaluation of what you guys do?
Camp's critical. It's an opportunity for guys to come out and compete at LSU and on our campus, and for us to get a chance to work with those guys. Plus, they get a chance to work with us.
Yeah.
They hear how we coach. They hear how what type of people we are. It's hard to fake it for 3-4 hours out on a field, right? So they get that opportunity. I think that's huge. But from every age, from 9th graders up through 12th graders, we're going to put a flag and we're going to put a wall up around Louisiana, and that's going to start. Right, that's going to start year in, year out in the summer, and getting guys on campus and working with them from when they're young all the way up to the end of their recruiting process. So yeah, it's an opportunity to evaluate. It's also an opportunity for us to show off this unbelievable place that we have.
Yeah.
Right, and the coaching staff that we have and the energy that we have out there, and for them to understand what it's going to be like when they come to be an LSU Tiger.
Do you think that Denbrock, House, Poley, and Kelly have any idea what that is going to look like Labor Day weekend in New Orleans on a Sunday night playing primetime in the Dome?
I mean, I think they probably can guess. I don't know. People get. I guess we have 7 home games. Really, that's really 8, right? That's really 8. Yeah. So it's. I'm excited about the environment. I've had the opportunity to obviously be in the Dome a few different times, and it will definitely be. We'll paint that thing out purple.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild.
It's purple and gold. It'll be littered through there. So it's gonna be fun. We'll take over the city that weekend.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks for stopping by. Great to see you.
Yep. Really appreciate it, Jordy. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Joe Sloan, LSU quarterbacks coach, 30 minutes with Coach digging into the depth of the offense and the expectation here in the offseason.